A commenter asked, "Hi, Dr. Jones. How do I let go of the desperation?" It's come to my attention that a few of you didn't like my response to this post. Hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a licensed therapist. I've been counseling men and women who have been victims and or perpetrators of abuse for many years now. I wanted to respond to this post because I guess another influencer sort of, did a critique of my post. One thing that I want to kind of start out by, clearing up some things. So one thing I will never do as a therapist or, somebody who's worked in the therapy field, even after I retire, is I am never going to stomp on another person's dream or ambition or, heartache. I should put it that way. It's just who I am. I don't really tell people what they should or shouldn't want or what they should or shouldn't desire. Now, we may, as a clinician, what I may do is look at some of their thought processes around some of the things that they want, but I'm never going to tell someone that they shouldn't want to get married or that they should give up on the idea of love or that they shouldn't want to have a baby or buy a home or any of those kinds of things. I'm not going to do that. And I don't think it's my place to do that. And so I got a lot of criticism around how men are awful and how someone should never be desperate to have a man and yada, yada, yada. That's your position. And so my way of looking at it is I approach it like this. I'm not gonna get down on people like that. It's one of the reasons I don't like shows like, American Idol or America's Got Talent. They kind of devastate people that are, that feel like they have talent. I just don't do that. In this person who wrote into me said that she was feeling desperate or starting to resign herself. My answer to desperation, I gave statistics about how many men there were on the planet and got a criticism about that, which is fine. I understand that. And don't you know all men aren't good and, this and that and the other. Of course I do. If you follow me, then you know that I've talked about that quite extensively on this account. I've talked quite extensively about men and women who aren't good. And of course, I know that there's other people that are homosexual and, all these other kind of things, right? So I know that as a person, right? But again, still, there's a still high number of people out there. And so my response to desperation is to come from a place to look at things from a place of abundance. So then there was some complaint about how that sounds too manifestation like or too yah or too woo woo. That may be so. People may say that they follow Shira, they follow Princella, they follow Dr. Cecilia, other influencers, which that's fine. I have no problem with that. So I have no problem with people following whoever you want, even if it means that you're not following me. The problem I do have, though, with people is when they come on here and they say, well, they start to put down my license or they start to put down my business and say, you're this, you're that, all of these kinds of things. Those kinds of things are, I think, cruel and a little out of bounds, and inappropriate. And I try not to get too wrapped up in that, but there's certain things about myself that I'm never going to disclose because of the type of work that I do. I also won't do certain things because of the type of work that I do. And that's kind of what separates me from being an influencer, because I actually have a job outside of this. I have a license, so there's rules and regulations. It's also one of the reasons, just as professional etiquette, but also, I'm not going to go on here and sort of talk about other professionals and things like that. I feel like that's kind of, I won't do those sort of things like that. That's why you guys frequently hear me say I'm not going to name names. I don't look at the world as black and white. I do think that there's good people out there, and I do think that people should remain open in terms of, like, you know, when you're desperate, right? And this woman, I'm bringing up the word desperate because she mentioned that in her original post. I think the response to desperation is almost sort of releasing that and looking at the world from a place of abundance so that you can be open to things to come in. Because sometimes when you hold on to things too tight, I do think it's because of fear-based thinking and scarcity mindset, which can get in the way of a lot of things. And I don't know her, so I'm giving general tips and advice based off of my experience in my work with clients. If there's ever a question that I don't feel comfortable answering, I will not answer that. So I know that there was a lot of complaints about that too. I just don't think Dr. Jones knows how to answer. Dr. Jones just isn't equipped. She's blah, 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 right? So all the things, right? But I think the answer to desperation is letting go of the fear-based mindset and releasing yourself from whatever sort of rigidity you have around the desperation, right? Like, if I don't have this, I'm a failure. If this doesn't happen, then X won't happen, and things like that. And just sort of letting go of that, but also allowing yourself to see there's abundance out there everywhere that you look. Everything is not all bad. Everything is not all black and white. And I hope that that makes sense. I'm sorry if it doesn't. But, you know, I just kind of wanted to clarify that and clarify, you know, what my answers are. If it doesn't apply to you, you don't like it, let it fly, and that's okay. I get that I'm not for everyone and everyone's not for me. That's why there's, you know, that's the good thing about social media. You have your pick of who you can choose, what you choose to engage with, and all of that kind of stuff. And so, you know, but that's my thing. And I think, you know, I wish the young lady well who wrote the original post. But I would focus on, you know, abundance and how you can bring more abundance into your life. And that could look different for everyone. And again, I don't get to answer everything fully on a 10-minute video. But thanks so much. Take care.